Close your eyes and imagine a world where tranquility and wellness are just a breath away. Welcome to our sanctuary of relaxation and rejuvenation. But what if you could carry your sanctuary with you wherever you go? Introducing our mobile app. Access a wealth of yoga classes, guided meditations, massage collections, and self-care techniques right at your fingertips. Create your own oasis of peace, anytime, anywhere. Download our app to embark on a path of tranquility and self-discovery. Your journey awaits. Namaste.
Hi, I'm Karlee, and this is your follow-along stretching routine for your full splits. All you'll need for class today is a mat or some open space, and if you have blocks, have 2 blocks handy nearby as well. If you're not in a place where you can do this video right now, go ahead and save it to your watch later playlist so you can join me whenever you can. If you're using blocks today, you can have one on each side near the top of your mat, and we'll go ahead and get started today in a child's pose. So bring your knees out wide and your big toes close together, and we're gonna melt the chest down towards the mat. Allow your forehead to rest onto the ground, and feel your hips sink back towards your heels. We're gonna get moving and breathing in just a moment. But for now, take this moment to connect to your breath. Feel the opening space in your hips. Start to deepen your inhales and your exhales through your nose. Beginning to heat the body from the inside out. Two more breaths here. And we'll rock our way up to tabletop. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. We're gonna start by mobilizing the hip joint. So fire hydrant your left leg out to the left, about a 90-degree bend here in the knee. And then we're gonna draw the knee in a big circle up behind us, towards the ground, and back out to the left. Couple times just like this. So we're bringing some synovial fluid into the hip joint, and this is going to help our hips really open up when we start getting into our deep stretches. We want to have a little bit of core engagement here so the low belly's not sinking down. We're staying pretty neutral through the spine. Now let's switch the direction of our hip circles. So knee comes up behind us, then to the left, then towards the ground. We start to smooth out these edges. Your glutes are gonna start burning a little bit. That's okay, that's good. We got 2 more circles here. Last one. And we'll take this over to the right. So our right knee will fire hydrant out to the right, come back up behind us, and down towards the mat. Now engage the core, so our back is pretty neutral. We've got a few more circles. A lot of times we think the splits is all about the hamstrings, but our hips play a very major role in getting into our splits as well. Let's do one more circle here in this direction. And we'll switch. So the knee comes up behind us, out to the right, and down towards the mat. A few more times just like this. Keep your steady inhales and exhales through the nose. Excellent job. Let's tuck our toes, lift our hips into downward facing dog. So pedal out the heels here, feeling the backs of the legs really awaken. If downward dog doesn't work for you, you can also just bring one heel at a time back behind you and rock some weight forward and back to open up the calves. Otherwise, we're here in down dog with our knees off the mat, pedaling out the feet and relaxing the neck. Press your hips as far back as you can. And bend the knees as much as you need to allow your spine to feel comfortable here. We'll come to a forward fold at the back of the mat, so walk your hands back towards your feet. Again, bend your knees as much as you like to let the spine hang heavy. Grab opposite elbows here, so we're in a little rag doll, and sway side to side. You'll start to feel the whole backs of the legs and the spine lengthen out. Let's take another big breath in here. Big breath out. And we'll walk back out to our tabletop. So crawl your hands back in front of you, knees to the mat. And we'll step our right foot between our hands for a low lunge. Now grab your blocks here if you have them handy. We're going to tuck our left toes, lift our left knee off the mat. On our inhale here, we're going to be in this lunge, and exhale into a hamstring stretch. Now if it's comfortable for you, you can flex the foot so it comes off the mat and just the heels on the mat, or you can keep the toes down. We're going to move with our breath in and out because we're still warming up here. So inhale, pull the chest forward and the knees low. Exhale, straighten through the right leg as much as you can and fold the chest down like your knee's gonna come towards your nose as close as it can. We take a few more rounds with our breath here. Inhale, pulling forward and down. Exhale, folding and rounding. Just like that again. So on these inhales in the lunge, you'll feel this front of the left leg open. That's your hip flexor and your psoas. And that can be really tight and cause limited mobility and splits. And then here in this straightening, this hamstring stretch, we're really getting into the back of the right leg. Let's do one more round. And then we'll meet in a low lunge and lower your left knee to the mat. So now we're in a low crescent. Inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and take a side bend, pulling the left side body over to the right. Squeeze your left glute, push the hips forward, and pull your torso over to the right. Full breath in and out. And come back up to center. Breathe in. Breathe out. Nice. Half splits now. Straighten through the right leg again, but this time the left knee is on the mat. Flex your toes towards your face and then point. A few more times. We have 3 different muscles that make up the hamstrings. So we have to hit some different angles to make sure we're awakening all of these muscles. We'll pause with the right foot flexed and bring the blocks all the way over to the right side. So all the way right past the right leg. And this is going to be pretty intense. If it's not feeling too intense, walk the blocks farther away from you or your hands on the ground farther away from you. Take 2 rounds of breath here. Nice. Opposite side. Walk the blocks a little bit more towards the left. So again, we're here, or crawling the torso down a little bit more for 2 rounds of breath. And back to center. can let the blocks go for a moment, and we'll come into lizard lunge. So shimmy your weight back forward, and then bring your right foot out to the right side. So it's a wider lunge stance, and your hands are on the middle here. Maybe they're still on the blocks, or maybe you come all the way down to your forearms. See what feels best for you. So everyone's body's gonna be a little bit different here. There's tons of different places to go with this. We're gonna be here exploring for a couple rounds of breath. This is another great pose to open up the front of the left hip, the psoas. Take one more full breath cycle. And pigeon pose. This time we're walking the right foot all the way over to the left, and we're bringing the right hip down onto the mat. So you can use the block here under your right hip. This can sometimes feel really nice. Or maybe you want to use the blocks under your forearms and fold your chest forward. Or you can even bring your head all the way down onto the blocks like a little pillow. And if this is feeling really intense, you can bend the left leg up so you're at about 2 90-degree angles and sit up here or fold forward here. Otherwise, the left leg is straight out behind us. The main intention of this posture here is now the outside of the right hip, the right glute. So you should feel that really turning on. Let's give it a couple rounds of breath. We're going to take all of that to the other side now. So bring your hands to the mat, shift your weight back to your tabletop. You can sway out the hips and feel the difference in energy from side to side. Now we'll step the left foot between our hands and grab your blocks. We'll tuck the right toes, lift the right knee off the mat, so we're in our nice firm low lunge here. Now on our inhale, we lunge and pull the heart space forward. Exhale, fold the chest, round it down. Option to bring your left toes off the mat or keep them down as we straighten as much as we can through the left leg. And we'll take this breath to movement. Long inhales through the nose, long exhales through the nose. If you are using blocks here, remember your blocks have 3 different heights. We have a low setting, a medium setting, and a high setting. So you can always play with those different levels of height as you notice which feels best for you. One more round. And pause in your low lunge. Bring your right knee down to the mat for low crescent. Lift the arms up. This is feeling like a lot on your back knee. You can place a blanket under your right knee here. Grab the right wrist with your left hand. Take a side body stretch to the left. Keep sinking the hips forward and down. Another breath in. And out. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, half splits. Straighten through the left leg. Again, it's okay if it's not perfectly straight. That's the direction our energy is going. And grab your blocks. Fold your chest forward. And point and flex the left foot. Now we'll take our twisted stretch to get some different angles. So blocks and hands over to the left. Maybe walk them out farther. Maybe it's super intense and you want to bring the blocks up to a higher height. If you don't have blocks, you can always use a big book or anything else that would be of similar shape. And we'll come all the way over to the right. Fold down here. One more breath. We'll walk ourselves back to center. Find that lizard lunge. So we re-bend the left leg and bring the left foot out to the left a little bit more. So now our blocks are on the inside of the left foot. You can also do this without the blocks, or maybe come all the way down to your forearms. See what's feeling good for you on this side, even if it wasn't the same variation you took on the other side. Breathe into this feeling in the right hip. And pigeon pose. Start to bring the right foot all the way over, or the left foot all the way over by the right hand. Sink the left hip back down to the mat. Now again, you have the option to put a block under your left hip, or under your forearms, or under your head as a little pillow, and fold the chest forward. So now we have an intense stretch in the left hip and the left glute especially. We have a few rounds of breath here. Last breath in. Long breath out. We'll start to walk our way back up. Plant your hands on the mat and take any adjustments you need on the way back to tabletop. And we'll get into our full splits here. So shake it out side to side. And we'll bring the right foot back between our hands. Grab the blocks if you'd like them. And we'll straighten through into that half splits. Now as we make our way into full splits, we're just going to send the right foot farther forward and the left knee farther back. It's okay if your hips don't come all the way back down to the mat. This is a hard pose. So gently take any adjustments you need. You can always place the block under your leg, under your thigh, or keep using it for your hands. Remember, 3 different heights here. It's okay if you start on the highest height and slowly make your way down. We're going to be here for a couple rounds of breath. And I know this is really intense, but it's important that we keep our nervous system pretty calm, because if we go into a freaked out state, the last thing our body wants to do is help us gain flexibility. So we tell our bodies it's safe to be here. It's safe to increase our range of motion in this space. If you are all the way down in your full splits, one thing you can do with the block is actually bring it underneath your front heel and then slide down into your splits, and this will help you get an over splits. Let's take one more round of breath here. And then slowly move your heel back in and come back to your lunge. We'll step into our tabletop. And we'll finish this off with the left side. Step your left foot between your hands. Grab the props if you'd like them. Half split, straighten through your left leg. And then we'll bring the left heel forward, the right knee back any amount. It's okay if you're very far away from the mat. It's also okay if one of your sides is a lot lower to the ground than the other. For me, it just kind of depends on the day. So again, we tell ourselves that it's safe to be here. It's safe for our muscles to relax into this pose. Again, if you're already down all the way to the mat, bring a block underneath your front heel to give yourself extra room to grow. Take a few more rounds of breath. And we'll slowly make our way back to tabletop. Pull the left heel in, re-bend into a lunge, and step it back to tabletop. We'll finish off in child's pose just as we began. Honor your body for all of the amazing stretching you did today. If you're really trying to get your splits, I recommend doing this video about 3 times a week. It's also really great to do this video after you've done a workout when your muscles are really warm and sweaty. That's a great time to gain flexibility and pair this video with your other workouts. We'll come all the way up to a seated position on the mat. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you're feeling nice and warmed up in your splits. If you'd like to see more content like this, download our app, Yoga Plus.
Welcome to Yoga Plus. Courses available from pupil to yogi. Sort by yoga, fitness, and instructors. Create your own routines. Access the pose library. Yoga Plus by PsycheTruth, available on Google Play and the App Store.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by PsycheTruth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.